Hi, in this video, we're going to talk about how stimulus travels from the central nervous system to the peripheral nervous system. Um, so, in our normal neuromuscular response, we have 5 parts. The first is a receptor. The second part is a sensory nerve. The third part is the brain. The fourth is a motor nerve, and the fifth part is an effector or a muscle, and that will generate a response. So a stimulus can be uh, maybe something that you see, so something that our senses can detect. So this is a stimulus. So a stimulus can be interior, can be from the inside and also from the outside. So example of an interior stimulus is hunger. So hunger, when you're hungry, it will cause your stomach to grumble. So it will force you to encourage you to find something to eat. And for external stimulus, it can be the cold, it can be something warm, it can be anything from our environment. And the effector is actually the movement. So let's get this in a concrete example. For example, like this is showing us, I saw an apple, my eyes receptors are going to bring the information from a sensory nerve to my brain, and my brain will command one of my motor nerve, or more specifically the nerve in my arms, so that I can take that apple. Maybe I can eat it. That's another process again. And we have also the reflex arc here. In the reflex arc, we can see that the brain actually is replaced by the spinal cord, or by a neuron or interneuron in the spinal cord. So the reflex arc is actually this part of the response. So in a normal, we have the brain, but in a reflex, the brain is replaced by an interneuron in the spinal cord. So it goes receptor, sensory nerve, spinal cord or interneuron, it go motor nerve, and effector. Let's see how the information goes from the neuron here, the motor neuron, to the muscle or the effector. That's what we're going to see in the next slide. So we call this this part the part where the muscle and the nerve is joined together. We call this area the neuromuscular junction. And here in this image and every other image that you can find of the neuromuscular junction, you can see that the nerve, the motor nerve in that case that I was talking about, and here you have the muscle. You can see that they are actually separate. They don't touch each other. So, and this space in between, the space in between is called the synaptic cleft. So the synaptic cleft is that part here, right here, or yeah, this whole part right here is the synaptic cleft. Is the space in between the neuron and the muscle. So the information is transferred from the neuron or the brain, in that instance, can bring information to the muscle by uh, actually by vesicle that contain neurotransmitter, and the neurotransmitter in that case is named acetylcholine, which is uh, the neurotransmitter for the muscle contraction. And then the vesicle that contain acetylcholine will release this acetylcholine into the synaptic cleft. And in the synaptic cleft, in the surface of the muscle, we have here receptors, or these receptors here. And those receptors are going to open. And then what happened next is that it will bring an action potential in it will open channel for sodium. So the receptor will open channel for sodium. So the muscle that was negative, that was the charge of the muscle that was negative will open, and because sodium or natrium is positive, then the muscle will become positive. And then when the muscle became positive, it will release calcium. And then the calcium will go to the myofilament acting and my myosin. And actin is composed of three parts. We have troponin, tropomyosin, and the active part of actin. And then the calcium that is released when the muscle became positive will be attached to the troponin head. And then the troponin will activate tropomyosin, and the tropomyosin will give room to the uh, active side of the actin. And then that will open a passage so that the myosin head can go out and attach to the filament, and then that it will bring the two here in the sarcomere, which is this surface right here, the sarcomere. So the actin and the myosin, those filaments will come together, and then the structure or the sarcomere will become shorter, and that's how our muscle contracts. And this was all about this video. Thank you for watching.